Good morning. It is such an honor to be here with each of you. I want to extend a heartfelt thanks to Donna Zuniga for inviting me to be with you on this momentous occasion. And I'd like to be the first of many to congratulate each of you on your tremendous accomplishments. You know, one of the main reasons why I was attracted to the position of president of Lee College was the educational program here at the Huntsville Center. I've witnessed thousands of students graduate in my career, but none are more inspirational than you are to me. I want you to know that everyone here is tremendously proud of your accomplishments. I stand before you as a person who has dedicated my entire career in supporting students to succeed, especially those that are most underserved. When I look at each of you and consider what it has taken to have reached where you are today, I wonder what challenges you have overcome and will continue to face as you move forward. But I also wonder how each of you will use these challenges and the education you've received to make a positive difference in the lives of those around you and in our world today. On that note, I want to spend some time sharing my own personal journey and how, through education, my life was saved. Let me begin by telling you about the people I come from. I am from my Korean mother, Kai Sun Bae, who lost her home in a devastating fire, who never finished middle school, who was left alone when her parents died at the age of 50, and who put all her hopes and dreams in an Army soldier who promised her a better life in America. I am from my father, Juan Santiago Villanueva, dubbed El Rey by my abuela, the eldest child of 5, who grew up picking cotton in the fields of the Rio Grande Valley, and whose earnings went straight to his parents, only to barely get by, who was so gifted he skipped 2 grades, and who, on the day he turned 18, caught the first bus out of the valley, the one called the U.S. Army. My parents' love was fierce, and their passion burned strong until it ended in divorce when I was 8 and my brother was 5, leaving us with the stark realization that our lives would never be the same. My mother remarried a poor alcoholic man who lured us and her with the promise to care for her and her young children with candy and toys, only to inflict years of sexual and physical abuse against us, proving over and over again that the world was not a safe place. My brother and I witnessed my mother go through endless cycles of leaving our abusive stepfather as I filled out applications at the age of 10 for my mother, who could not read or write in English, to working cleaning jobs for wages that could not sustain us. And although we went to bed hungry, we never slept so soundly as we did when he was out of our lives. Time and time again, my mother would succumb, though, to our abuser's pleas of, "I've changed, I'll never hurt you again." And in doing so, I was sent back to whacks and caresses I should never have known. My brother and I moved 10 times by the time I was in high school. During one of these moves, we lived in Korea, and my brother was left behind. We were separated for a year, leaving behind the only true friend I had. I never understood why my mother chose to not take my brother with us to Korea. But to make things worse, our father, who lived in the same city, didn't take my brother in while we were abroad. The years of abuse and separation took their toll on both me and my brother. By the time my brother was in high school, he had joined a gang and became a drug dealer. I chose other outlets to express my pain, whether it was overeating and spending time with men who demeaned me even further. We suffered. Success, you might say, was not even a part of our vocabulary. Surviving, however, was. It was difficult to grow up with the heartbreaking knowledge that our parents didn't make us the most important priorities in life. But while our parents made mistakes, they did always love us. They just didn't have the skills to make the best decisions for their kids. They did what we all do. They did the best they could with what they knew. I don't wish these things upon anyone, but I know that every single one of us have faced our own set of difficulties, and yet you've all made it here to graduation. And now I have the privilege and honor of standing here before you. So how did I get here? Well, to put it plainly, education saved my life. School was the one place where I was not only safe from my abuser, but it was also the place where I was taught to dream a future that I never thought was possible for myself. And while I was in school, I was fortunate to have crossed paths with some very special people who cared about my future and taught me the gift of education. As I mentioned previously, by the time I reached 9th grade, I had moved over 10 times. But somehow, in that chaos, I was exposed to people who saw something in me. That something was a desire for a better life, a voice waiting to speak to others, and a spark ready to be struck into a flame. I don't remember all of their names, but these people, everyday individuals who I consider real leaders, inspired in me the desire to be a better person. They led through love, only for the sake of making those around them better people. Let me share a few examples. When I was in the 1st grade, I was identified as a student who did not meet the standards for reading. They put me in a special Title I reading program where every day someone would take me out of the regular class and spend one-on-one time with me, teaching me to read. These teachers gave me one of the most important tools I could ever have been given, a passion for learning. From then on, I read about places I wanted to go, people I wanted to meet, and traits I wanted to have. It unlocked the door to a universe I had never known. I began to see that there was an entire world that I could be a part of. You know, I don't remember any of these reading teachers. I can't even remember their faces. They didn't win any major awards, but in my mind, they were leaders. While living in Georgia during one of many moves, I recall a teacher who listened to me read, tested me, and said, "Lynda, you have a gift for reading. You're in the wrong class. I'm moving you to the serendipity class." At the time, I didn't even know what the word serendipity meant. I found out later that serendipity was the name of the book for students who were in the advanced reading class. Now, the term serendipity literally means a happy accident or a pleasant surprise. Now, why was this meaningful to me? It was meaningful because it opened doors. Being in the serendipity class carried value. When I was meeting new kids, I was asked, "What classes are you in?" And I proudly stated that I was in serendipity. Being in serendipity meant that I had the skill, a skill that others valued. And it sounds silly today, but being in that class gave me some street creds. Kids who would never had spoken to me otherwise hung out with me, and I got to see what other more affluent kids got to wear, what they watched, and what they did. I felt like I was looking through the window of a toy store, and I started to envision a different future for myself. I don't remember any of these teachers' names. I can't see their faces now. They didn't win any major awards. But again, in my mind, they were leaders nonetheless. I lived in Korea during 8th grade, and I fell back a bit academically. When I returned to the United States, and to Colorado in particular, I struggled in algebra. I was in Mrs. Chavez's class. Now, this is the teacher's name I remember. Miss Chavez saw something in me. She spent extra time with me. She laughed. She told me things about herself. She made me feel comfortable with math. And she reminded me that I was gifted beyond my own beliefs. During that same time, I also met a band teacher, Mr. Brer, who also spent time with me, nurturing me, believing in me, pushing me to go the extra mile. They both had a vision, and that vision was to help me be more than I thought that I could be, and to dream bigger than I ever had the ability to dream at that time. Neither of these teachers won major awards, but again, in my opinion, they too were leaders. Most recently, I had the privilege of working with a man who served Brazosport College for over 40 years, Dr. Ken Tassa. I began working at Brazosport College in 2006, and he was my supervisor for several years before I assumed his position when he retired. Dr. Tassa shared so many things with me about being a leader, things I am still trying to learn today. He believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. No matter how scared or apprehensive I was, he always showed up. He was always there to listen. He always looked for the positives, and he always made me laugh. He was a decent person. I've made mistakes, but he always provided a safe place to land and allowed me to save face. He was the template of ethical behavior, and he showed me that when you do make mistakes, you may need to adjust your life, but not your standards. There were many times that I wanted to beat myself up or give up. And while he always listened to me complain, he taught me that true accountability for mistakes is taking action. He taught me that instead of being the jack of all trades, I need to recognize and develop my own strengths to make my way in this world. He was a brilliant chemist with the most amazing analytical skills. I was always worried that I wouldn't be able to fill his shoes, but he always valued me just the way I was. He taught me that I will always be a student in this world, and sometimes I'm scared today. I will always have a lot to learn, but because of him, I'm okay with putting myself out there and living outside my comfort zone if it means that I can make a positive impact on the world around me. You know, Dr. Tassa once confided in me that he wanted to be a college president. He never realized that dream. But he is one of the greatest leaders that I know. Why? Because he led me through acts of kindness and love. And in my opinion, his greatest professional contribution was to grow and mentor me. I'm a college president now. His mentorship is one of the reasons I made it here, and I owe him a great debt of gratitude. So, what was it that helped me make it through? Some might say that I pulled myself up by the bootstraps and did the hard work. But I would argue that the difference is about relationships. So yes, I pulled myself up by the bootstraps in the face of a great deal of challenges. but I only did so because someone cared enough about me to show me how to pull them up. And at the end of the day, it takes just one caring relationship to change the life of a fellow human being. So, I'd like to close with one important message that I want to share with you, and I really want you to hear and take this to heart. And that message is that you are enough. You are enough to achieve your dreams, whatever they may be. There will be times in your life when you feel less than, times when you wonder whether you have what it takes to succeed, times when other people make you feel like you don't have the right to be where you want. Let me be very clear about this. You are enough. You didn't graduate because of someone's kindness. You aren't here because there needed to be diversity. You are here because this place and this time would be absolutely incomplete without you. So many people have sacrificed for you to achieve your dreams. Many of these people you never knew. But they had the dream of you. They are our predecessors, our history. And these people sacrificed blood, sweat, tears, and in some cases, their lives for your dreams. They fought not for themselves, but only with the dream that someday each of you would be able to achieve your own dreams. You are enough. I could not be prouder of each of you, and I am honored to serve as your Lee College president. Thank you so much for the gift of allowing me the honor to share in your special day. Congratulations.